Hello, fellow dreamers. My name is Rachit, and welcome to Behind the Dream Show. Our goal with this online series is to introduce you with the real stories and advice from successful immigrants living in New Zealand and help you build a successful career on your terms. Let's face it, sometimes life can get tough, and for some people, those tough times are far harder than those of the average person. Times when people can feel alone or as if they have nowhere else to turn. Union workers are a unique group of people who help those who feel helpless, people dealing with professional or personal problems. It can be job exploitation or harassment, paid discrimination, unfair working condition, and many more things. Today, we have a prominent union worker who has made a big name for himself in the immigrant student community. He has been dedicatedly helping exploited workers and students to get them what they deserve. So in today's episode, we will be discussing how you can recognize the cases where you can be exploited, how to deal with them, and what can we do to make this whole situation better. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in welcoming Sher Singh.
Hi Sher Singh, welcome to Behind the Dream Show, and thanks for agreeing to do this interview. So you have been associated with all this community work from past almost 1 year, and you have been helping these immigrant workers who have been going through the tough times and getting harassed by their employers. But good on you, and congratulations to you that you have been able to do the things that you believed in, and you're actually doing anything, because there's so many people who say things but not really doing anything, right? So I guess I want to start this interview with knowing your views on exploitation, because you've been constantly associated with these migrant workers who are going through these kind of unfortunate situations. So what are your views on exploitation and why this is happening here in New Zealand?
First of all, Rachit, I want to thank you and your team for giving me this opportunity of coming on here and talking about this subject. It's a really serious subject, and I've been in the union movement for the last 2.5 years. Before that, I was at the airport, and I was a union delegate there, so I learned how to fight for people's rights there. And when we started off with when I started off as being a delegate, there was only about 60 staff that were members, and then I picked them up to 200. That's when I came in the eye of the union, and they said, "Oh, this guy's good." So when I went into the union movement, my job involves a lot of helping people, getting the collective agreement together, and then myself, when I used to look on the media, on the shows, on the news, and hear about all this exploitation with students.
Right.
I used to think that, why are these students coming into New Zealand? Why are they causing this chaos? Why are they, there's people here that have been here all our 20 plus years. We've made a reputation. Why are they ruining our reputation?
Yeah.
So I had that thought too, and I started blaming the students. But then when I looked deeper into it, I investigated it, and I looked deeper into it, and I said, hey, there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing this because there's someone at the back not treating them right.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I work alongside with Migrants Workers Associations, and that's when I thought, no, I have to do this, but at that time there was nobody there to help me.
Oh, okay.
And so I tried contacting a lot of the media channels, to help me out on spreading awareness. Radio stations, and they said no, because they obviously stay away from the subject because they get sponsors from that, some of the businesses. So then I just thought, hey, I had Facebook in my hand, and I thought, why not use this platform?
Yeah.
People are using it. I just made a small video and introduced myself. I had to thank the community for doing something for me, and then from there I got the idea. And I started doing awareness videos, and it wasn't just about exploitation, it was about the students' rights.
Right.
You know, when they come into New Zealand, what they need to look for from the minute they land.
Right.
And I know it's not, you know, not all employers are bad. I know many employers out there that are good, that are paying the minimum wage, that are paying the contractual wage. But the problem is that when they learn from each other, and, you know, there's like a competition between employers. One person buys, they're doing the same business. One person buys a nice house, a nice car. The other guy thinks, hey man, I'm doing the same business. Why is he making so much? He finds out the loophole, then he starts doing it.
This is where it all started.
Yeah. So, you know, and they all look at each other and they say, oh look, you know, this guy's earning this much. But we're in the same business. I've been here longer. Why is he making more? So they learn these shortcuts. And then, you know, visas were sold for 40,000, 30,000. You know, imagine that's easy money. And it became like one student comes in, 30,000, yep, do your visa. You get your residence or not, that's not my responsibility. After a while, once I've had the money, boot them out, bring in another one. So employees made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars doing that.
Man, this is crazy.
It is crazy. It is, and it's about time we have to put a stop, because it's not just affecting today; it's going to affect the future. Why are immigration rules getting so strict? Why is the employment law getting strict? It's because of things like these. I have friends in the immigration, they say, look, you know, we don't want to change the rules purposely. We do it because people cheat the system. And the more we're going to cheat, the more rules are going to get strict. If we carry on the way we're doing it, it's going to be impossible for a migrant to come into New Zealand in the near future and settle here. That's the circumstance we're heading towards if we don't action on that.
It's a humble request to everyone. Don't take the shortcuts. You need to understand the longer the journey, more are the lessons to be learned. And as Sher Singh said, at least it's the journey that is worth going for. The first thing you need to do is believe in yourself. Build your employable skills. Understand the true potential and become the best version of yourself. Make your personality so charismatic that the employers will give you a call to work with you. All you have to do is work on yourself. Build your skills, then you will be unstoppable.
So let's go back to where a person is getting exploited. How I can solve that problem where I know I'm getting exploited, I'm not getting the money, I'm doing the extra hours. How I can solve that problem?
The only way of solving the problem is stand up for your rights. Contact people, contact employment law people, and you can, you know, there's Migrants Workers Associations, Indians Workers Association. They got a small booklet, IWA, and it's a passport book, and they've got all the rights. So it looks like a passport. When you open it up, when you're a migrant in New Zealand or you're getting exploited, it gives you the ideas on how to tackle it. And then, you know, there's the union movement. Everybody has the right to become a member of a union, regardless you're on a working visa, regardless you're PR or whatever, you're citizen, you have the right to become member of a union. Once you become a member of the union, you've got that protection. And the employer knows that this person is not alone. Like our members, my union that I'm working for, we've got about 55,000 members. And so the employer knows that this person is not alone. He's got a big team behind him, so he would think twice for doing anything like that. And this is the reason why union movement has been kept away from the small businesses. They haven't been told the big businesses, they have a contract, and they do, when they offer the IEA, which is individual employment agreement, they have to offer the employee with an option of joining the union.
Oh, okay.
Where the small businesses don't do that. They just say, okay, here's a contract. People don't even read their contract. The rights are in there.
Right.
People, if the employees read their contract properly, either it's a collective agreement or individual agreement, you have your rights there. Once you read that thoroughly, you know, if my employer does this, I can challenge him.
Right.
But if you don't even know your contract, how are you going to challenge it?
Of course.
You know, if you've taken, like some of the contracts that says, if you work 8 hours, after 8 hours, if you want your employee to stay for 1 more hour, it's only with mutual agreement. The employer cannot force me to stay.
Right.
Once, if you had read the contract, you know that it's in your head.
Right.
So, and you know your rights, and then you would stand up for your rights. That's the main problem with the students and the migrants that are coming into New Zealand. They want the job,
Right.
but they don't want to know their rights. And honestly speaking, it's because of the rules of the immigration, they have to have a certain job and a manager role to have a successful career in New Zealand.
Right.
So, with all that stress, they forget to read their own rights. They need to read their own rights. And if they think that something is not right in the contract, all the legislations are online. You look at the Holiday Act, it's all online.
Yeah, right.
And if your contract is not meeting the minimum requirements, you can challenge your employer and say, hey, this is the New Zealand minimum rights. Why are you offering me this?
Right.
So it's just about educating our people. Yeah. It's educating the migrants that are coming into New Zealand.
Right.
And we need to tell them that, look, do not take shortcuts. I know that there are many people that want to take shortcuts. They want to settle in New Zealand very fast.
Right.
But I always tell them that you do it properly. It might take a long time, a little bit longer than taking shortcuts.
Right.
But it's a guaranteed win.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a guaranteed win.
Yeah.
If you are living in any country, it is very important to know your employment rights. This is the only key to save yourself from any kind of exploitation and harassment. Also, as Sher Singh said, it is very important to read your employment contracts. If you are not a good reader, ask your friends or family to read it, but make sure none of your basic rights are getting exploited. Now in the next segment, let's see what Sher Singh has to say about how we can overcome these problems.
Now I know like the problems that people are going through, and like it all starts when you apply for the visa. Now I want to know, what do you think, how we can make this situation better? Like how we can overcome these problems?
See, Richard, the only way we can do it is educating one another. Okay? And we have to play our part to make a positive change.
Right.
Stop relying on others.
Of course.
Okay? Yes, I'm always available to answer a few questions over the phone.
Yeah.
But please get up yourself and go on the internet and look it up yourself. You can, look it up yourself, understand it. And if I've learned from my mistake, it's my duty to tell others that, hey, don't go through that path. I've been there, done that.
Yes.
Okay? But there's a lot of people that say, they sit there and watch. I got treated like that, I'm going to watch what happens to this guy.
Yeah.
It's that revenge.
That's terrible.
And I know a lot of employees that have become employers. And they have that thing too, that grudge. I got treated like this when I was an employee. I'm going to take that frustration on my employees. So that mentality needs to stop.
Right.
We need to think, okay, if I got treated unfairly, that wasn't my destiny. I should leave that and move forward and not treat anyone like that.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's about communication. The rule books are all online. You have unions behind you.
Yeah.
there's no industry that union does not cover. There's majority of the industries unions do cover.
Okay.
But then recently, like we've had an area where, I'm not going to mention the name, but we had an area where unions did not cover it. What they done, they made their own association.
Oh, okay.
They said enough is enough. We're going to make a little association and we're going to fight it together. And at the end of the day, I always say to many people that, like, information, you're only going to get information when you seek for it.
Yes.
It's not going to come to you. Right. I've done my live Facebook videos to get to people. So I've knocked on their door and said, guys, I'm here available to help. There's these associations, there's unions. But now you have to get up and open the door and let me in.
Yeah, right.
Don't just let me stand on the door, knocking on your door.
Yeah.
If you want a positive change, stand up for your rights. And there's a law here. Everybody has to abide by the law.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? And I can guarantee you nobody can fire you for fighting for your rights. There's that fear in people in migrants, that if I ask my boss a question, he's going to start thinking negative, he's going to sack me. He cannot do that.
Yeah, of course.
And so the union movement works. It's like we do not look after pre-existing issues. Okay, so depending on what sort of issue it is, but if it's like insurance. You can't claim for car insurance after you've crashed your car.
Yeah, right.
So it's that protection. And I always say to everyone, regardless whether they're from the Philippine community or the Indian community, any community, they need to do some research and find out what union they belong to and become a part of the union movement. Otherwise, talk to one another.
Of course.
You know, there's a lot of power in the local communities, like the churches, the temples. There's a lot of power in that community, but we're not using that.
Okay.
You know, we have advisors, we have lawyers, we have doctors that come to these events every Sunday. But if somebody wants help, we should leave our profession aside and help as a human.
Yes.
Those small steps can make a really good positive change.
Right.
Not just for the migrants, for the whole community. And what I mean by community is not just I'm Indian, my community is Indian. It's everybody around me. That's my community.
Right.
And until we don't have that, this is not going to stop.
Of course.
And we need to, it's part of education. We just have to educate one another.
Totally makes sense.
Stop expecting people to support your dreams. It's yours. You have to work for it. Sher Singh said it right. You only gonna get information when you seek for it. Don't just rely on the information that agent gave you. Do your own research and understand what it takes to get a job in New Zealand and own your own success.
So I also want to talk about your mindset, like as you were saying, that there are many people who just want to take the revenge. Like, I have gone through this kind of exploitation, so I'll let him also go through it. So I want to talk about your mindset. Like, why don't you feel like that way?
My mindset, to be honest, everybody sees hardship when they come into New Zealand, regardless whether they've been here 1 year, regardless whether they've been here 20 years.
Right.
When I arrived in New Zealand, we faced a lot of racism. Right? That doesn't give me the right to be racist towards others.
Right.
You know, so the way I work it is, okay, if somebody has done bad to me, I shouldn't do bad to them.
Right.
I'll be good to them. That way he will learn, he will think, hey man, I've done this to him. But still he has not reacted.
Yeah, right.
Don't let them think that it's affected you. Stay positive and just keep moving forward.
Right.
And then, obviously, that would set in the other person's mindset, yeah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
You know? And revenge at the end of the day, everybody says, anybody can take revenge, but it's just going to make the mess even bigger.
Right.
So it's better to forget. I know it's easy for me to say it, but it's better to forget and move on.
Yeah.
And I can say that because, I know I faced a lot of racism when we were young, smart comments, and I've still got that thing in my head, and I see my children and I say, hey, I hope they're not getting treated that way.
Oh, yeah.
But for better change, look at us today.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit, there might be smart comments, but not as many as there were 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
So that's, I say, it's better to forget and move on. Don't take your anger, your frustration on someone else. It's totally unfair.
That is the truest thing ever. The best kind of revenge is no revenge. Move on and be happy. After this interview, what I have realized, knowing your rights is the most important thing. It will not only help you to avoid exploitation, but you will also be capable of helping others.
Okay, sure. So my last question is, what is your one big advice for all the immigrants living here in New Zealand?
The only advice I can give, and the biggest advice is, stop blaming others for what you've done and take some responsibility on yourself and move forward. If you know that something is not right, seek help. You can seek help from the Migrants Workers Associations, Indians Workers Associations, the unions, or like they say, Google Baba, right?
Yeah.
You can Google it. All the legislations are there, right? You have to do that. I always say that nobody is going to come and teach you. If you know that if I'm getting treated unfairly, take a stand. And when you take a stand, nobody can challenge you for that.
Right.
And it's better to do it right away than leave it, just let it go. Oh yeah, maybe sometimes what happens is it might have happened as a mistake.
Yeah.
You can let it go.
Right.
But if that same mistake happens again and again, you get up and you say enough is enough, and you challenge that.
Okay.
And I've just said it before that, but if you challenge your rights, nobody can harm you, or nobody can tell you you don't have to be scared for fighting for your rights.
Yeah.
And the only advice is that, do your homework. We have to do your homework rather than thinking that somebody would do it for me. I know that happens a lot, but in the employment industry, we have to do things ourselves.
Right.
It happens in schools. I know people get made. I remember back in my days, I used to get my friend to make my assignment. Hey, I'm busy. I used to make his. That stops there. This is more of a future step, and we can't do that.
Right.
We need to just educate ourselves and educate one another.
Right.
And if we've learned something, spread it in the community.
Yeah.
Just tell everyone that, hey, look, this is what I've learned today. Have that communication.
Yeah. Now you have social media, so you can do that easily.
Yeah, and this is, we need to, social media is not, it's not bad. It's a very, very good tool that we can use.
Right.
But only if we use it properly.
Yes.
You've got friends, you've got families on there. You want to make an announcement, you can make it. If you're camera shy, you type it and you write it out.
Yeah.
As long as we tell everyone that, look, this is what's happening, keep that communication. Nobody can harm us.
Right.
And we, at the end of the day, we have to know that we're in a foreign country here. The foreign country has welcomed us, and they have welcomed us. We have to welcome them.
Yeah.
Right? We have to treat them the same as we treat one another. We have to all combine and just work as a big community, rather than small little communities. We're a big community. Look around us. If somebody needs a help.
Of course.
Small gestures can make a big change. Even it's raining, you're driving. Ask someone, hey, do you want a ride?
Exactly.
And then people start thinking, they start respecting you. And this is, we can just learn from one another's mistakes. We're humans, we make mistakes, of course. But one mistake shouldn't happen again and again.
Yeah, right. All right, Sher Singh, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
No worries,
and
thank
I'm
you,
sure
Rachit.
this information is going to help a lot of people out there.
No worries, thank
Sher
you.
Singh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Alright, fellow dreamers, thank you so much to watch this episode. I hope this interview gave you some great takeaways. Please make sure you follow, like, comment, and share with all the people you think who need this video. Also, make sure you join our Facebook group, which is a great place to meet some like-minded people and build your network. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode.